probably wondering how you already have homework for this thing that you're going to. Well, the Life Design team is ready to dive right into the activities. However, you might need a little context, terminology, and characteristics of life design before you yourself become a life designer. But first, let's start with a story. Once upon a time before the pandemic, 3 Buccaneers traveled across the country to Stanford University's D School to attend the Life Design Studio. They learned about design thinking, did all of the life design activities, and even created and tested their own prototypes, all within a week. Since then, several other Buccaneers have attended the Life Design Studio. The entire team loved this type of thinking so much that we're bringing it to you at ETSU, and we're ready to help you design your life.
So why do we think life design is so important? We want you to be prepared to explore and navigate different paths because the truth is, interests and opportunities change over time. Here are some facts about why life design might be important to you. First, students today will change jobs about 12 times during their lives. And 85% of those jobs that students will do in 2030, they don't even exist yet. Also, 80% of job openings are not posted online, and only 5% of jobs are filled by people applying to the few jobs that are actually posted online. Now, don't get discouraged. Design thinking is how we shift from what I want to be when I grow up to what I want to grow into next. It dissolves several dysfunctional beliefs about careers, work, and life. Here are a few that you've probably already heard. The first dysfunctional belief is find your passion. The reality is less than 20% of people can identify a singular passion, and that's okay. It's completely normal to have multiple interests and to want to pursue multiple things. Design thinking helps us figure out how to develop passions and not simply stumble upon them. The second is you should know where you're going by now. We like to think that you can design your way forward instead of having to have a concrete plan for the future, because after all, things change. The third dysfunctional belief is, are you living your best life? Are you being the best possible version of yourself? We know that you've heard YOLO and FOMO, but how on earth do you actually know the answer to these questions? Again, design thinking can help create the career, work, and life satisfaction that most are looking for. It connects the dots between who you are, what you believe, and what you do to increase meaning making.
Now that you know why and how we believe life design is important, you might be asking yourself, when do I use design thinking? Design thinking is used when we have what we call wicked problems. Now, wicked problems are those big problems or big questions that aren't well defined. Like, what should I do for a career, job, major? Those questions that are too complex where one solution doesn't work for everyone. Again, we want you to build your way forward. Life design is a framework and set of mindsets that can allow you to do just that.
Empathize. The process starts with need finding, which is grounded in empathy, which literally means the ability to share the feelings and perspectives of another person. In the case of product design, you are empathizing with the user and trying to understand what they need. In the case of life design, the user is you, and we will be doing a lot of self-assessments to give you the ability to empathize with where you are and where you might want to be.
Define. Designers love problems. In design thinking, we put as much emphasis on problem finding as problem solving. In defining the problem, it's all about scoping the shape and size and the characteristics of the problem you're trying to solve.
Ideation. Designers love to ideate broadly and wildly. They love crazy ideas because they know the #1 enemy of creativity is judgment. Designers use ideation techniques that help us get past our brain's tendency to be critical and leap to judgment. In ideation, we go for volume because you choose better when you have lots of good ideas to choose from.
Prototype. Once you have narrowed down to some possible ideas, it's time to pick one to build a prototype. We are building our way forward, failing fast to learn and iterate to get the data we need for the next prototype. It's an iterative process where literally hundreds of prototypes can be made to get to the ideal solution for you. Life design prototypes are designed to ask a question and get some data about something you are interested in. Prototypes help you experience these alternatives, have meaningful conversations with your advisors and others without committing to a semester worth of classes or a major. We want to help you make a better decision about what you want to pursue with these prototypes.
Test. Once you have a prototype, you have to test it to see if it works. In product design, you take the prototype to the user, have them use the product, and give your feedback. Once the user sees a rough version of the idea, they usually say, "No, that's not quite right. If it's going to do this, it should do it like this." Now that they have something to react to, they can envision how they will use it, and we're back to finding and refining our definition of the problem. In life design, the process is similar. You can test management consulting and product management by prototyping. A life design prototype could be an internship. It could be shadowing a product manager for a day, or interviewing 5 or 6 product managers. This process may look linear, but it's an iterative one. We're building, testing, getting feedback, and iterating again.
There's one more step we add when we're doing life design, and that is the step of acceptance. As we said at the start, you are here. This is your life. As you ideate solutions, you may have to make some trade-offs or deal with certain constraints, like, do you want to live with a roommate? Do you want to live near your family? Are you training for a marathon? Or are you trying to live with an illness? And these trade-offs and constraints are all about accepting where you are when you're moving through the life design framework.
Now that you've heard the steps of the framework, you should also know that designers have a way of thinking that makes them different from others. Here are the 5 mindsets that designers use to think differently.
Radical collaboration. Design is a collaborative process, and many of the best ideas are going to come from other people. What's radical is that you want a diverse team with different experiences, perspectives, points of views, and even beliefs.
Reframe. Reframing is how designers get unstuck. Reframing enables designers to examine ways to look at problems differently or through a new lens in order to increase the opportunity for innovation.
Curiosity. Curiosity makes everything new. It invites exploration, and it's an open approach to learning more. Designers look through the lens of curiosity and not judgment or rushing to solution. You will hear designers say, "Tell me more," or they'll ask open questions so that they can get at the needs and wants. They can find out what works, what doesn't, and what's missing.
Mindful of the process. Being aware of where you are in the design thinking process is important because it informs your approach. And it's also important to be aware of your own process. Are you rushing to a solution? Are you blocked? Are you energized by certain activities and drained by others? Being mindful of the process is key to the journey of product and life design.
Bias toward action. This is the heart of design thinking. You are committed to building your way forward. Designers try things. They test out ideas, failing often until they find what works and what solves the problem. Designers embrace change, but they are not attached to one particular outcome.
Now, before moving through the steps of the design thinking framework, it is important to understand your point of view, how you view yourself within the world, and what work or college means to you. We call this the meaning-making layer. What matters to you?
So as we mentioned in the mindset, you won't be going through the life design process alone. It's best to design with others. So in the framework, there's an additional layer of discovery and support through activities, discernment, mentorship, and community. That's why we're here, to be part of your community. We are so excited that you are taking the first step toward transforming into a life designer. We look forward to collaborating with you soon. So, are you ready to design your life?